dividing people right now?
Well, in 1968, when Richard Nixon came up with that phrase, it was a very potent issue. People felt the crime was out of control. People wanted something done about it. And he seized the issue in a way that the Democrats did not. Crime was out of control. People wanted something done about it. And he seized the issue in a way that the Democrats did not. This time, I think Americans feel, and Trump said it in that speech yesterday, that are we treating the police the way we treated Vietnam veterans back in the 1960s and early 1970s? Are we giving them the support they need? And you look at places like Chicago, where you have a huge breakdown, huge surge in shootings, and people are wondering what in the world is happening. So when you get incidents like such as happened in Louisiana and Minnesota, yes, those things have to be fully investigated, and if wrongdoing was done, the officers should be punished. But people feel that those are isolated instances. The police are under huge pressure, and they're not getting the support they need to deal with the crime.
Look, you haven't endorsed Donald Trump yet, unless you'd like to do so right now.
Well, I've said always I would endorse the Republican nominee, and he's about to become that.
So you are?
I'll be supporting him.
You'll be supporting him. But when he says things like, I am the law and order candidate, or when he says, I have a plan to defeat ISIS, I'm just not going to tell you what it is tonight, and he hasn't told us yet what it is, he sounds a lot like Richard Nixon in a secret plan to end the Vietnam War. And a lot of people are saying, is he akin to Richard Nixon? Is that the leader we need right now? These are different times than the 1960s, although, yes, reflective of them in terms of the racial divide.
Well, in terms of supporting the police, I think that is a very potent issue. And people feel that if you don't have community support of the police, they can't do their job. That when they go make a routine arrest, they're going to be accosted. They have to always look over their shoulder. So I think most Americans don't want to have happen in other cities what's happened in Baltimore, Chicago, and a handful of others.
But what I'm saying is, does he remind you of Nixon?
No, he reminds me of Donald Trump. Trump is absolutely unique. And in terms of fighting ISIS, he makes the point that if you put your strategy out in the front, the enemy's going to know it. But in terms of fighting terrorism, I think he's been very clear on that. In terms of beefing up the military, and what gives that such potency is he's also made clear, this is very good politically, that he's not looking for dragons to slay. He thought it was a mistake to go into Libya, thought it was a mistake to go into Iraq. So people don't feel that he's going to get us into unnecessary.
Just to be clear, he didn't always say it was a mistake to go into Iraq. He said on Howard Stern's radio show a long time ago, oh, I guess I would have done it. Wish we weren't in this situation, but okay. Yeah. Let's move on to this. Ben Sasse, first-term senator from Nebraska, Republican, wrote a fascinating post on Medium last night, and he wrote this. He said, today I don't have confidence about either of the current frontrunners. I think one of them does not even know the Constitution and what it's about, and the other one doesn't care. This coming from a Republican who's calling upon people's conscience as they vote. What do you make about that and just the division that it shows within your party?
Well, you've got both parties. Even though Hillary Clinton and Bernie Sanders are going to have a love fest today, the fact of the matter is a lot of Sanders supporters are leaning towards Donald Trump. The CWA.
But you don't have Democratic senators writing that about their presumptive nominee right now.
Well, he's one. How many other senators have been writing that? And so both parties have nominees with extremely high negative rates. The challenge for Hillary Clinton is that her negatives are more frozen, rock solid, because she's been around for 20 years doing this, than Donald Trump. What Donald Trump has to do is assuage the doubters. And this will start with his pick for VP. He did well picking 11 potential Supreme Court justices that passed muster, people who could do the job. And so on the VP pick, if he picks somebody, people say, okay, maybe he's going to put together a good team.
So let me get your VP pick for Donald Trump. Who do you think he'll go with? Who do you think he should go with as we see the potential candidates right there?
Well, I lost count at 20. But
of those men on the screen, Newt Gingrich, Chris Christie, Mike Pence, Jeff Sessions, or retired Lieutenant General Michael Flynn. Which one?
I'm not sure it's going to be any of them. You could have Rob Portman emerge. You could have Mitch Daniels, president of Purdue University, former governor of Indiana, emerge. And you could have somebody in Nikki Haley emerge. He hasn't made his mind up yet, so I don't know who he's going to pick.
Although he said he will in the next 3 to 4 days.
He could change his mind again. That's the thing about VP. But if it's somebody that people will say, hey, this is a person with experience, not on the original Trump team, hey, maybe this guy can put it together. That's what you have to do now, is assuage the doubters, because both have very, very high negatives, and both, I think, are going to have to put out positive messages on how
Right.
they get this economy moving.
We will watch. You don't think it will be anyone potentially on that list? We will see.
Wouldn't be surprised at all.
joining-
I'm not going to bet a penny of my 401k on any of those.
All right, spoken from the man, Steve Forbes. Thank you very much.
Thank you,
Later on the program on New Day, we will have retired Lieutenant General Michael Flynn to talk to us about what we might see. Will he be Trump's running mate? Stay with us for that.